But soon, I shall be so I cannot remember any but the things that never happened.
Night School Studios' Oxenfree is one of my favorite games of all time. It has an impeccable atmosphere that is really boosted by the incredible art and soundtrack. But it also has a dark and unique story that calls into question the role of player choice. What starts out as a typical story about a group of teens going to an island beach party becomes a morbid, dark exploration of fate, death, and what we leave behind. And how one choice, or mistake, can cause a ripple effect that changes the world for everyone else around you. And of course, there's time travel involved. And spoilers for the entire game coming up. So, in Oxenfree, you play as Alex, a troubled girl still coping with the death of her older brother, Michael. She boards the last ferry headed for Edward's Island with her aloof best friend, Ren, and her new stepbrother, Jonas. Once the three teens get to the island, they run into Clarissa, Michael's girlfriend from when he was still alive. Since Michael's death, Clarissa has begun to resent Alex, and along with Clarissa is Nona, who Ren secretly has a crush on. And now, having met all of the main characters of the story, the game leaves their fates in the hands of the players. So let's keep going, shall we? After a game of Truth or Slap on the beach, where you can unearth some traumatic backstory about Michael and or ouch Ren's crush on Nona, Alex, Ren, and Jonas decide to go investigate a nearby cave. It's rumored that if you tune into a certain radio frequency at the mouth of the cave, you can hear some spooky noises. So Alex does just that, and in doing so, she unlocks something.
It sounds so... Yeah, it sounds...
It's freaking me out a little.
Yeah. Wait, what was that?
Alex and Jonas proceed deeper into the cave to investigate, and they begin to notice strange things like cryptic graffiti and random furniture. Using the radio, Alex tunes into another frequency that fully unlocks a portal to another realm.
Sleepy, time now is possible.
I don't know what you mean, so I can't...
And now, the game truly begins. When Alex and Jonas awake, they head up to a nearby radio tower and receive distress calls from both Ren and Clarissa. It's up to the player to decide which friend they choose to rescue first. Ren is quite clearly freaked out, even more so since taking a pot brownie earlier, but Clarissa seems to have access to an actual working radio that could call for help. If you choose to rescue Ren first, he'll continue to be friendly and banter with Alex, but if you choose to rescue Ren last, he will begin to feel betrayed by Alex. However, this has no real bearing on the plot as a whole, just some minor dialogue you may hear. But no matter what you do, when you go to rescue Clarissa, first or last, she'll appear possessed and will inevitably commit suicide. And there's nothing the player can do to change this. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, possessed? Like, by a ghost? You'd be right. But you're also wrong. Okay, so this information is revealed bit by bit over the course of the game through dialogue, letters, and hidden anomalies. But I'll save you all the hassle and just tell you up front. The portal that Alex opened is a gateway for a group of ghosts called the Sunken to reconnect to the physical world. The Sunken are actually the perished souls of the crew and passengers aboard the USS Kanaloa that was sunk due to friendly fire when radio comms officer Maggie Adler mistook an encrypted message for enemy communications. The explosion also triggered a nuclear reactor on the ship, which is why the Sunken can only be heard through radio waves or seen in photographs. The Sunken once tried to use the radio waves to possess Anna, Maggie Adler's best friend, but the process was all too quick, and they killed Anna before they could inhabit her. After this incident, Maggie Adler sealed the Sunken away through the portal in the cave and did her best for the rest of her life to keep people away from Edward's Island. Now, with Maggie Adler passed away and the portal open, the Sunken are trying once again to possess a human body, using Alex and her friends as vessels, but now they know they need to take their time. To assist in doing so, the Sunken will often place Alex in a time loop, forcing her and her friends to repeat tasks over and over again, delaying them from making any progress. This is a really important piece of the game, so you're going to want to keep this in mind. Once Alex and Jonas have rescued Ren and encountered Clarissa, everyone reconvenes at Hardin Tower, where Ren suggests that they head into town to check for the keys to Maggie Adler's estate, where there will hopefully be a boat to escape on. Alex is then presented with a choice of who she'd like to bring along. Jonas, who's been with Alex all night, Ren, who hatched the plan despite eating a second pot brownie, or Nona. If the player picks Ren, Ren will happily tag along, however Ren and Nona will not be left alone together with a chance to bond. If Alex brings Jonas, the two will continue to grow their newfound sibling bond, but Ren will feel betrayed once again, and if Alex decides to bring Nona, both Jonas and Ren will feel alienated. No matter what, in town, Alex will encounter a possessed Clarissa once again, revealing that she is still alive but taken by the Sunken.
Now we're gonna break into that office, we're gonna find the damn key, and we're gonna go home.
No.
No? What do you want?
All the Oxenfree.
Ooh, boy.
Alex and her partner will find an enhanced radio that's able to tune into even more frequencies. This radio can also assist in opening certain locks by tuning into specific frequencies. Radio in hand, everyone regroups at the Adler estate. They find a boat, but it needs keys, forcing the kids to search through Adler's house. Clarissa appears again in another time loop, forcing Alex to play a game of I Spy, which reveals more information about Maggie Adler's past and Anna. Realizing that Clarissa would meet the same fate as Anna if they simply left, the group resolves to close the rift back in the cave. Now is also a good time to mention that along with these time loops, Alex has been experiencing visions of her past, where Michael is still alive and with Clarissa. In these memories, Michael is still planning to move away for college with Clarissa, which makes Alex uneasy since Michael drowned at a going away celebration at the lake right before he moved away. There is even an opportunity for Alex to tell Michael that he should break up with Clarissa. Fast forwarding a bit, we finally see the results of our choices as a player.
Just don't say anything to them, okay? It's just like a trial period, like buying a used car that I can already tell is missing a lot.
When Alex and Jonas reconnect with Ren and Nona outside of the military bunker that leads back to the cave, there's a possibility that they will have decided to be a couple. There are multiple factors that contribute to this, but it largely comes down to letting Ren and Nona spend time together, as well as a few specific dialogue options that help guide their romance. But a sudden anomaly causes Ren and Nona to disappear, leaving Alex and Jonas alone to head down into a bunker to enter the cave to close the rift. Jonas hears music playing from a music box and swears that he can hear his dead mom calling to him. Upon further investigation, Jonas also disappears, leaving Alex alone. When Alex re-enters the cave, the rift begins to behave strangely, and Alex is transported inside where she once again encounters Clarissa and the Sunken. Depending on whether or not Alex took the deal to trade Clarissa's life for the lives of her and her friends, the Sunken will berate Alex for going against her word, but they will present Alex with a choice. She can either leave the rift, abandoning Clarissa, essentially erasing her from existence, or Alex can close the rift from inside, trapping herself forever with the Sunken. There is a third option that is not as clearly presented. If the player has done their due diligence in exploring and recovering all of the Maggie Adler letters, new dialogue options will open up, allowing Alex to start to remind the Sunken of their past. This is still a bit tricky to pull off though, since you still need to navigate all of the dialogue correctly. Regardless of what you do, Alex will wake up in a dreamlike version of her home, where Michael is still alive. Michael will then ask Alex what she thinks he should do, move away for college or stay in their hometown. After answering, the dream will fade to white.
Just in case I'm not around. And I love you, and you're amazing, and that's it. So,
I love you too.
But soon, I shall be so I cannot remember any but the things that never happened.
yeah, I don't know. Hey, look who's finally awake.
And she will wake up on the ferry heading home. Alex's friends will assure her that everything worked out and that they're all safe. If Alex left the rift, nobody except for Alex will remember Clarissa. And if Alex chose to tell Michael to stay home instead of leaving town for school, he will be alive. In this case, Jonas was just a new friend of Ren's who tagged along, and all of the sibling bonding that Alex and Jonas might have done has been for naught. Regardless of your choices, the group will get together for one final picture.
Come on, Alex.
Like this, here. When I was younger, I could remember anything, whether it happened or not. But soon, I shall be so I cannot remember any but the things that never happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, didn't you? Cheese!
After a mysterious cut to black, Alex will begin a post-game narration, rehashing the outcomes of the game. These include whether or not Ren and Nona got together, whether Alex and Jonas bonded as siblings, whether Clarissa was alive by the end of the game, and of course, whether or not Michael was revived. If Michael is still alive and Alex told him not to break up with Clarissa, they will still be in a long-distance relationship where Clarissa decided to move away on her own. Then, with one final choice, the player gets to choose Alex's fate.
Well, if it matters, I'm
taking some time off.
just to, I don't know, readjust my priorities, figure out what I want to do. But anyways, what time is it? Yeah, sorry, I gotta run or I'll miss the ferry. Ren's dragging me out to Edwards Island for that yearly beach party thing, and I have to pick up what's-his-name Jonas, too. I hope he's not weird or mean or something. Whatever, I'm sure it'll be fun. It's something to do, right?
And the game ends. It does not matter if Alex finds every letter and hidden anomaly, and saves everyone, or sacrifices Clarissa to save herself, or brings her brother back from the dead. No matter what you do, Alex is still stuck in an endless time loop, doomed to repeat the events of the game over and over in hopes to find a way out. Now, this normally would be where the video would end, but if you as the player choose to continue the loop, things will be different the second time around. This is where New Game Plus comes in. The mechanics and the characters of the game will all remain the same, however, the game now recognizes that the player has prior knowledge, so there is an increase in jump scares, random static, and the Sunken will even begin to reference the fact that this isn't the first time that Alex has done this. Even if this is only your second playthrough, they will tell her that they've done this repeatedly with multiple Alexes from different timelines. I hadn't mentioned it before, but during the time loop sections of the game, Alex will often see another version of herself who will give her some piece of advice. If you play the game online on platforms such as Steam or PlayStation, the game will detect which of your friends have previously played Oxenfree, and the other Alex will appear as one of your friends. So your friends' playthroughs are the other Alexes from the other timelines. To me, this is a really cool and subtle way of breaking the fourth wall that directly ties into the premise of the game. So, New Game Plus all culminates in an opportunity for Alex to send a radio message to another version of herself when she's down in the bunker. The game will conclude as usual with this version of Alex restarting the loop, but then you will get another scene of Alex, Ren, and Jonas waiting outside of a convenience store. Ren's older sister was supposed to come and buy them alcohol, but they're about to miss the last ferry. Ren wagers to Alex that if she tunes into a random station and if it's music, they'll get going, or if it's talking, they'll stay and wait. Alex will then hear the radio message that she sent herself, and then, depending on the message and some dialogue options, Alex, Ren, and Jonas will decide to leave and not go to Edwards Island at all, effectively breaking the loop. So not only do your choices essentially amount to nothing when it comes to changing the outcome of the main story, the only way to save only three of the characters is to have them never even initiate the beginning of the game. But does that still mean that Nona and Clarissa are still on the island? Because they're already there when Alex and the guys arrive. Are they now stuck in a time loop of their own where Alex never interfered, so they have no idea that they're even being possessed? I have so many questions. So, That's a deconstruction of Oxenfree. I can't emphasize enough how much this game blew me away the first time I played it. It took all of the preconceptions I had from playing story-based games like Until Dawn and Life is Strange and just turned everything upside down. If you haven't played this game, I wholeheartedly recommend it. And with the sequel right around the corner, you never know what's gonna happen.